My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. I almost hit the wrong button. Hello, everybody. Welcome again to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil, and today it's your time to get into high gear, high velocity, as we can put it there. As we interview the team from Doctor Who Velocity, you're going to be introduced to Miss Krystal Moore, who is actually way before Jodie Whittaker. She is, well, technically in the fan world, the first female Doctor. You're going to get to know more about Krystal and her journey as she goes inside the TARDIS, takes over, and takes on the Boglins. You're also going to meet her wonderful husband. Wow, that I told you I should not be allowed to get off work and start doing this out there. Mr. Chris Phillips, he is the lovely husband of Krystal Moore, and I'm going to probably start over after a while there. He's also producer and does everything else on Doctor Who Velocity, producer, special effects out there. Remember, for those of you who are not familiar with Doctor Who Velocity, they do these shows on a shoestring to absolutely no budget whatsoever. They do this on zero funds. This is a fan letter and a fan kiss to everybody who loves Doctor Who, as well as the TV show Prime out there. My name's Christian Basil. Welcome. Let me go ahead and introduce our panel. Is going to be introducing our guest today. But first, let's start off with, I'm just going to pick them at random because I can do that. I'm going to start with the lovely Dave
Hey,
Chapman. As soon
as
I get the banner off there.
There we go.
There we go.
Hello.
She's just running out. I can't have it cut that she's running a bit slow today.
Yeah.
Gee,
shocking. Christian running a bit on the slow side.
This is Dave Chapman from the rathole.ca, and that CA means Canada for those of you down here in the States out there. Dave Chapman, how you been? You've been touring the country for quite some time in other countries, I could see.
Yeah, I've been all over the place. Just came back from Salt Lake City, Utah, from SaltCon. Before that, I was all over Eastern US, Eastern Central, I guess. It's been a great trip. I leave for Vancouver British Columbia for Shucks, if you're in that area for that gaming convention next weekend, and then off to Essen, Germany for a convention there, and hopefully MCM London at the end of October.
I don't like you anymore.
I mean, I can almost take you with me. It just depends if Baby Blue decides to get in a box.
Yeah, I take my little baby Blue out there. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. That's how we get the algorithm going. That's how we get our attention out here to our little favorite Doctor Who panel, Doctor Who podcast, your Doctor Who podcast. Don't forget to. And in just a few moments, we will be joining in our live chat with Doctor Who Velocity. Let me go ahead and finish off bringing on our panel today. And let me bring in the lovely Dr. Freedom himself, Brian Buress.
Wait, I'm lovely today? Okay.
Oh, you're always lovely, dude.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, that's how I introduce everybody. Everybody's special, but everybody's special equally. How you doing there, Brian? It's been a while.
Oh, hanging in there, and the only place I've been touring is too much Boston and Fallout, and that's about it.
Now, do you have Baby Groot on your treadmill there? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, that's Baby Groot, and I don't know if you can see him over here, but Herman will not stop bringing friends home. I'm not kidding. I got a dead alien skeleton that has a dinosaur. He's got Ryoki, and now he's got Baby Yoda hanging out over here.
All right. We got a lot of things going on over there on Brian's side over there. So let's move on to the lovely Mackenzie Floor. How you doing there? It's been a while, Mackenzie. How you doing?
I know it's been a while. I've been terribly busy. I'm still terribly busy, just like Dave, except I'm not traveling all over the world. It's more of like I have writing deadline after writing deadline after writing deadline after writing deadline. You can kind of get the picture.
I get the picture there.
So yeah. I do have 2 conventions coming up in October where I will be at Motor City Comic Con. It will be October 14th to the 16th, and also Matt Smith, Karen Gillian, Alex Kingston, and Arthur will also be there as well.
Okay, so you got the family.
I got the fam. Yeah, I got the fam. And then the following week, I will be in Indiana at Doctoberfest at the big Doctor Who museum. So that will be fun.
I had the pleasure and the unfortunate of having. They had at one of a convention. I won't say the name of the convention, but they had 4 characters from Doctor Who. They had the Ponds. They had Amy, they had Rory, they had River Song, and they also had Clara. And at the very last minute, all 4 bailed.
Oh no!
So as soon as they bailed, this convention had no Doctor Who influence. So I get an email from the convention heads that said, "By the way, you're the Doctor Who now." I was like, "Oh my god, no, that's not cool."
Yeah.
So it felt good to be important during that convention, but I was like, I know why you're here. Not necessarily for me, but that's fine out there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and introduce our special guest. Let me go ahead and start off, first of all, the gentleman who would be the producer and everything else that makes Doctor Who Velocity happen. Let me introduce you to Mr. Chris Phillips. How you doing there, Chris? Welcome.
Hello, how's it going? Nice to see you guys.
It goes, brother. Thank you for joining us we had an exciting. I was hoping to get you last weekend when it started, but it's already premiered. So tell us a little bit about your role in Doctor Who Velocity, and then I'm going to bring in our very special guest.
Absolutely. So, of course, yeah, Doctor Who Velocity is basically a YouTube fan film. So it's we have probably one of the first female doctors. Krystal Moore, my lovely partner, who plays the Doctor, and then everything else is local actors. We're based in Boise, Idaho. We have local actors. We've got kids with rubber masks on, yogurt pots for Daleks, all that kind of stuff. So we've been doing it since about 2017, and we usually make 1 or 2 episodes a year. It's totally a hobby project. Just something fun to do. And so so far it's been there's some long nights involved, but we enjoy it. And we're on to we've just released episode 8, which is the Boglins. I don't know if any of you guys remember the 1980s creature puppets, the Boglins, but those are the ones in this episode.
I had to look it up. I actually, for about a brief moment, I thought you guys made it up. I was like, wait a minute, what is this? I thought it was kind of like one of those things with what is it, the Blair Witch Project? You kind of built in a backstory
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you
yeah,
were
yeah.
explaining it, and I was just like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." And then I was like, "Oh, there were really Boglins."
They're really
And, yeah, we'll go into that story in just a moment because I'm going to bring it on your lovely life. I love the fact that you can say, "Hey, is your wife here?" And you can just pull out a sticker and just show, "Yes, she's here." There you go. This is the lovely Krystal Moore. How you doing there, Krystal? This is the Doctor.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for having me on. I always love talking about Doctor Who, love coming on, and it was nice to see Chris's face there for a minute. I don't know.
Aww. I love your dress sense. We got Sesame Street representing in the house. The Doctor is representing Sesame Street, Big Bird, and all those guys. So how you doing, Krystal? Welcome, and thank you for coming up on the show.
Doing very well, thank you. How are you guys?
We're doing great, and just to break the ice, I'm going to go ahead and release so everybody can see each other right there. There's the scary. There we go. All right, we're going to stop. We just want to see Krystal. That's it. We're going to see the star of the show. And for those of you, Dave, can you take the chats on? You be okay with that?
I can certainly try.
Awesome.
I was trying to figure out how far Boise is out of my route down when I'm traveling through Idaho again next spring. A few
Don't
hours,
forget, folks,
but...
live. And for those of you who may not be familiar, we do have an Instagram, and I'm actually live on it right now. Unfortunately, StreamYard doesn't provide for Instagram, so if you want to check it out, please go to... Oh, did I just... Oh, there we go. I thought I froze for a moment there. I'm live on Instagram, so you can see the behind-the-scenes of what I'm doing right here, watching Christian on Instagram. There you go. The Reverend Amagon, better known as Tom Kosak, the hashtag guru. Whoa!
Wrong button. That's my fault.
There you go. No worries.
I was trying to do that so that he could put the sticker back up, and accidentally took him right out of it.
We had Krystal on from the very first season of our show. This is when we were just an audio recording. We didn't have the team that we have now, and we grown since then, just a little bit since you've been on the last show. The commercial I remembered, but the toys not so much. So without further ado, we will introduce you. Just in case you didn't meet the intro, let me go ahead and run it. This is the trailer for the latest episode of Doctor Who Velocity. You can go on their Facebook page and their YouTube channel, find it. Let me go ahead and show you just a brief, if you're just joining us, the trailer for Doctor Who Velocity, The Boglins. I think I just wanted to see the Boglin fart again. That's all. That's exactly. Oh, wait. What do you want? No, Krystal. Where you can't put that away. Get over here.
Yeah, she's got the Boglins out.
I've got them out. They've completely invaded my house for real. There's these two, and I'll just pan over to this corner. You can see there's three more, and there's yet more behind there. They are literally multiplying in my house.
My God.
Wow. I actually thought the Boglins were the Gremlins and just like some takeoff of that.
It's like a little puppet. Look at that.
Yeah.
Well, so in another 6 months, are we getting a Mad Balls version?
Exactly. So the Boglins, they were a toy from the 1980s. They are American, and they're created by a guy called Tim Clark. And he worked on a bunch of those sort of 80s puppet feature films like Dark Crystal type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He used to make these slimy Muppet type of characters for a lot of those films. And anyway, he did a deal with Mattel and made these Boglins toys, and they were big when I was about 9 years old. I guess I was about 9 or 10 when I got them. And so many years later, there was a
Carl.
there was a Kickstarter. Yeah, people think I made them up. Exactly. So there was a Kickstarter to bring the Boglins back, because Boglins are so rare that an original Boglins toy is about $500 right now. But they released new ones, which were $30, which meant my dreams could finally come true, and I could finally make the Boglin film that I'd always wanted to make. So,
Melanie says her brother had 2 of them. Now, I guess the question is, I wish I could put you on split screen, but let me go ahead and bring everybody into the thing. Well, actually, we got a commercial break. When we return, we're going to discuss more about Doctor Who Velocity, how the Boglins are involved. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend. Wow.
He's trying to find the button. Go to commercial break.
Yes. Oh, Chris knows this is.
Let me just do
Chris
this.
knows how this is going on.
It's like Twitch. Ask me to hydrate every now and then. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Jamie Engel, critically acclaimed author of The Toilet Papers, Places to Go While You Go, a short story collection suited to match your bathroom needs. Only have to go a little? No problem. I've got stories under 1,000 words for you. Far from poopin'? I've got you covered, with stories over 5,000 words to keep you occupied, while your latrine stays occupied. And that's not all. The Toilet Papers is endorsed by the fine folks from Squatty Potty, the stool for better stools. But don't take my word for it. See what Dookie the Squatty Potty Unicorn has to say on YouTube. You won't be disappointed. Well, I've got to go, but you can grab your copy of The Toilet Papers on Amazon in ebook or print, or get an autographed copy from me at therightangle.com. And don't worry, I promise I'll wash my hands first. The Toilet Papers. You might just stay in the bathroom longer than you need to.
Now, Krystal, yes, that was for real. Yes.
Yeah, it's my new favorite commercial.
Yeah,
endorse it 100%.
Yes. So I just want to let people know that is for real commercial. If you're just joining us now, back to your commercials as they're running. Boo! Don't forget to go over to our Facebook page, facebook.com, the Traveling TARDIS, facebook.com, hey.
I keep forgetting it automatically does that now. You can
Oh,
take that off.
why? Okay.
That's on me.
That.
There we go.
He's touching things again. Boo. Boo. Okay, go to facebook.com/the Traveling TARDIS, because on October 1st through October 31st, we are going to be doing the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS 31 Days of Halloween. They're going to be, we're going to have videos, we're going to have clips, we're going to have movies, new and old. And right now, actually, if you subscribe right now to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel, we have videos that are going up from Halloween Horror Nights as it's running this month. So there have been tons of Halloween Horror Nights stuff for you to take a look at on our shorts, and now on where is it? Finally got it going. We have TikTok. I don't know why. Somebody just told me to go on TikTok, but TikTok, and we want to thank our 300 subscribers on our TikTok channel. Thank you for joining us out there. Here we go. Back to
hello.
There you go.
Hello.
I got my friends Dave, Brian, Chris, producer, and everything else on Doctor Who Velocity, the lovely Mackenzie Floor and Krystal Moore, who is the doctor on Doctor Who Velocity. And for just our friends who may not be familiar with Doctor Who Velocity, Krystal, I'm going to you. Tell us about what inspired you to become the doctor and where Doctor Who Velocity comes in.
Oh,
I'll get to you too.
Great question. So it was actually after Capaldi, or actually the first idea I had was after Matt Smith left. I just had like this comedy, sort of a satire. It was a scene that had already been played out in Doctor Who, but the Doctor's a female, and how that would play out just differently. Like that was the initial seed, I guess. You know, I told Chris about it, and we laughed about it, and then Matt Smith was the Doctor, and then he left, and it was after that that we sort of came back to this, and we're like, let's do it. I think we could do this. Chris went looking online, and it was like, yeah, there's totally an audience there for that, and we want to do it. Let's make a short, you know, 1 episode, put it out there, see what happens. And it was one, you know, just a lot of fun, but was also really well received. So it's been,
Yeah, it was
great.
And
yeah.
I love the first episode, which would actually hint into Jodie's. And just for the sake of continuity, if you want to call it that, in the Doctor Who multiverse, Krystal was actually the Doctor before Jodie. So she's technically the first female Doctor in our universe out there. But the first episode would actually become an episode slightly into Jodie's season, which would be the Witchfinders. You actually did the Salem Witch Trials first. So that was a one.
We did. Well, we actually, I think that was the first place I wanted to go. That was the first episode I wrote, and you know, it was a lot of, you know, I sent it to Chris, and he made sure it works as a script and all of that kind of stuff. But I wanted to go to that place because I wanted to address sort of I thought that would be the most obvious time and place to show a very real difference in a person with authority, and how they're treated as a man versus as a woman, because we have been to that time period in previous Doctor Who episodes with previous Doctor Who incarnates. So I thought it was an interesting time to go to, and not just take that witch, you know, and try to save her, but actually muck it all up and make it much worse. And you know, how things can get just out of control.
That's just Doctor Who MO right there. It's just the Doctor comes like,
oh no, we gotta bring her back. But what I loved about that specific witch, because that's the first witch that was prosecuted and put to death for witchcraft. And I like her. I love her as this person, but I also love her in history because she was guilty. She did believe herself a witch, and she was doing these things. And I tried to make that real in the character, but also light, because that doesn't necessarily mean there's an evilness there, you know. So I love the way Jen played Agnes. That was a delight to watch.
Just in time for Halloween to do the Salem Witch Trials there. I think this is how Bette Midler started. Speaking of which, Chris, your wife comes up. She comes up and goes to George and says, "I want to be the Doctor," and go, well, what budget do we have here?
Yeah, exactly. So actually, just a quick one. So the Salem Witch Trials were the American witch trials. The witch trials in our episode are actually in Chelmsford in Essex, which predates the Salem. So what happened is the guy called Matthew Hopkins was the Witchfinder General in England, and he kick-started off this whole thing of hunting witches, and then it kind of spread over the pond. So that's where that comes from.
Oh, okay, cool beans.
But yes, so we decided to start making, like, you know, a Doctor Who fan film, and initially, the thing about doing something from home on no budget is it can like drag on for like months and months. So for that first episode, we really set ourselves a hard deadline to get it finished, which was kind of fun. And it definitely involved a lot of shortcuts and sort
creativity.
Creativity to get it made.
Right there. So, Krystal, you're now the Doctor. You're playing the role. I guess you're 13th alternate since you're coming in behind Capaldi in this case. Wibbly wobbly timely wimey. I guess this is the universe that we're in.
Wobbly timey wimey.
So, getting the TARDIS I thought was an interesting set because it was no frills, but I think it was actually the best layout because it's basically referencing back to classic Who in a little bit of a sense. But it's just empty in there.
It's behind me. That's it.
That's
it's a
oh,
white
wow.
wall. It's a white wall. That's it.
Chris, you didn't have to tell everybody about that.
Movie
I
magic.
wouldn't have known anything out there.
No, I really liked that creative decision on Chris's part. I felt it was, really fresh and clean and complemented kind of what we were wanting to do, which was not just put like a girl in boys' clothes and do this, but this is a different character and a whole fresh sort of start. And he showed me some mock-ups of what he wanted to do with the white walls and just sort of infinite space, and I was excited because there was nothing there, meaning that the possibilities were endless. Like I got right into making that cardboard stand there, and was so excited to just have this really clean, smooth sort of anything is possible. Yeah, Chris has got it there. That's
what a way to just ruin the illusion.
I made that with it doesn't ruin the illusion. It means you can do it too. I got some poster board for making in the craft section at Walmart, and
Walmart. That's an IKEA TARDIS waiting to happen. That's in the corner somewhere. Going like build your
for
own
real.
TARDIS.
I made Davris's wheelchair out of similar materials, just some geometry and duct tape.
Well, I know we got some people in the chat. Dave, do we have any questions for our Team Velocity at the moment there? Or is it
not in the chats at the very least? It is worth noting. Yes, Christian himself is live on Instagram through the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS page.
For some reason, you can't hear him, nor can I read his lips.
Well, and I don't know if that means you can't hear you or if they can't hear the rest of the show, but you won't hear the rest of the show. Why do we still have just Krystal up here?
There we go.
You won't hear just the show. You're just going to hear Christian. It is not attached to this feed.
Right.
StreamYard does not let us attach to Instagram, which kind of sucks, but so we're trying something a little bit new.
Well, I wanted to make sure that our team, our fans out in Instagram are just not left out. And we hopefully one day when StreamYard does do this, but I think we're up to like 2,000 Instagram followers, and we wanted to make sure that they got something. Unfortunately, they're getting me. That's
Instagram. You need to be wearing a bikini on Instagram now to get any reach. So
no, they'll run. That's when they unsubscribe.
No, can't do that. Last time I wore a bikini on Instagram, I was paying psychological damages to people. No, people needed therapy.
And in my case, I don't even have to do a bikini. I can just post something, and then I'll have at least 5 spams in a comment just saying, post here, post here, post here.
Gotcha. And our friends, don't forget live chat with our friends Krystal and Chris from Doctor Who Velocity. If you have any questions, bring them up. If you've seen the episodes, let them know what you thought of them, because you could actually binge watch Doctor Who Velocity, I would think, within a couple hours.
Yeah.
So it's a great show to watch, and just something you can binge if you like. I just want to see something. So check it out there. They got it on their YouTube channel, which I did not put up. Sorry, but I will.
That's okay. Well, you're typing that. Here's a fun question.
Go ahead.
From our wonderful hashtag King Tom.
What
is your
question? Is that?
I have no idea.
What is your favorite color?
We're gonna go to that.
I think he's doing a Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah, in other words, he wants to know how he can get on the show.
Oh, I see. He wants to be on the show. Yeah. But first, you have to move to Boise, Idaho. So there's that. I don't want to tell you what house prices are like right now, but good luck. I mean, I mean, the more the merrier. We're always up for volunteers or whatever. Send us a little a reel or something of you acting, I would say. But honestly, yeah, it's kind of tough. Like living in Boise, you'll probably notice that it's a bit like the BBC. You see the same 5 actors in every single episode because that's who's here. So
yeah, that's why you see the same 5 actors in Doctor Who Velocity. We've got 8 maybe. We can rotate in and out of things, put different makeup on, or make a robot.
BBC does that. They make them into doctors. They have Peter Capaldi show up in the fires of Pompeii, and then a minute later he's now I've got an explanation now. Still trying to figure out the Colin Baker one, but
funnily enough,
sorry,
we used both of our kids in this episode. So Magdalene plays the girl in it, and then our little boy's in it as well. He's about 6, and because we did that, the YouTube algorithm just absolutely murdered us because they hate people pimping their kids out on YouTube now.
What?
And there's been so many crazy parents that have those prank shows where they prank kids, like, oh, we ate all your candy, oh, we've killed the dog or whatever, and the kids are crying and they're like, haha, just joking, and they get like millions of views. And there's been a few people who've had their kids taken away by CPS because they just went too far on their YouTube pranks. Yeah, so if you put your own kids in your videos now, you get all these warnings come up. YouTube keeps sending me warnings like, "Oh, are you sure about this?" And it's all good. We don't get enough viewers that they're in any peril. So
that's your daughter on the right. What's her name?
Magdalene.
Magdalene.
Mags. Yeah. She's pretty smart. I mean, when she was doing her lines and everything, I was just like, wow, she's really, really. She's got her mother's chops. Yeah. So
true.
And she'll say hello. She's sitting over here being.
Hey. Oh well, there we go.
I know.
There's a troublemaker.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm not giving too many spoilers away, but I'm glad your right shoulder healed very well.
Very well.
She can't hear me.
We do have the antidote. No, she can't.
And the guy you had up in the middle there is a guy, local guy called Dig. I think he's about 16, 17 now. And we met him at the local trampoline park. And he was doing backflips. He said, I really want to be Spider-Man. I want to replace Tom Holland. And I was like, hang on a minute. Do you like acting? And he's like, yeah. I said, give me your mum's number and I'll see if she would let you be in a little film. And so obviously he probably thought I was a weird creeper. And we sent his mum a little email with a link to the show and, told him he'd be home before bedtime or whatever. And she thankfully agreed and said yes. And he was up for being in it. So yeah, it was it was kind of a fun local teenage drama production this time. And it was pretty enjoyable.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get hit to commercial break. When we return, we're going to talk to Krystal and Chris about more Doctor Who Velocity, and we're going to talk more about the Boglins. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity. Streaming now.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Oh, brilliant! It's hard to believe that in the 56-year history of the greatest sci-fi television show in the English language, there has never been a fan guide to Doctor Who. The official books might give you what they think you need to know, but only a guide written by a true fan will give you what you really want to know. Join Whovian, the brilliant Mackenzie Flaw, as she takes you on an intensive journey inside the world of the first female Doctor. In the Binge Watcher's Guide to Doctor Who, Season 11. Right, let's get a shift on.
Down here, me. Down here, me.
Falling forward.
Alright, can I get a little bit more leg? There we go. Think of yourself as Madonna, 1982, alright? Alright. Now, give me one that's sassy. Fantastic, fantastic. You know, we need a little bit more energy in here. Oh, don't throw a fit now. Divas, all of them, divas.
Welcome back to Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian David here. Who plays the Doctor, and Chris Phillips, who is producer and does everything else for Doctor Who Velocity on a very, very, very minimal to nothing budget out there. And don't forget, you can chat in live with your questions out here. Normally, well, I just want to say this, and I don't want to bring the show down a little bit, but for those of you, I just want to make a mention just recently, because unfortunately we have a friend who is in Puerto Rico right now. Many of you know who Melina Vader is if you've seen her in past shows. She resides in Puerto Rico, and she's one of our panelists out here. Unfortunately, of course, the island of Puerto Rico was struck down by Hurricane Fiona, and everybody had lost power at the time, and we were all worried and concerned about her. I have some good news. I've been following her on her Twitter account, and she is okay. So far, she's okay, but she's been using social media to get messages out to us, but she hasn't responded to any of the social media messages back in. I've been telling her if she needed anything to let us know, and she's been forwarding things of this nature out there. More than 1.5 million customers are without electricity as the Cat Storm 1 hit moved through the island. This is on ABC News. So for all of you who do this, please, if you can put Melina and everybody out there in Puerto Rico into your thoughts and prayers. As soon as we know more news about how Melina is doing and her status, we will bring it to you. But if you can do that for us, we would really appreciate that. And that's all she's asking for there. She posted reaching out today to ask you to take a minute to put my family, close friends, and my country of Puerto Rico in your prayers. And if you can find in your heart to think of me, I would also appreciate it. And of course, without a doubt, Melina, yeah, all of us are hoping and praying for you that everybody out there gets taken care of okay. So if you could do that for us, you can put into the chats just, how you feel about Melina. We're rooting for you, Melina. And we hope everything is okay. And we'll bring you back on the show as soon as everything is taken care of. Welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Bays. I don't mean to be the buzzkill of that, but we want to make sure that everybody knew, because people were asking me about, hey, our co-host Melina, she's out in Puerto Rico. What's going on? And as the storm hit, I couldn't tell you. And I actually started posting to her. I sent her Facebook messages. I sent her Twitter. I responded as soon as she posted. Your heart goes like, oh, okay, she's okay, but I've sent messages, but she hasn't responded to any of them. So I don't know how it's working down there in Puerto Rico as far as what is going on, but you know what? All of our love to you, Melina. We're hoping you're okay, and we'll have you back on the show as soon as everything's taken care of. And if you need anything, please let us know out there. So bring in the Debbie Downer. I apologize for that. We're back with Krystal Moore and Chris Phillips of Doctor Who Velocity, and I want to talk more about these guys. All the enemies that you brought into the Velocity universe, why were these guys the one? Why were the Boglins running? What was your inspiration for the Boglins? Aside from Krystal Moore having 20 of them in her bedroom.
Yeah, so
So
I didn't have those first.
Really? Oh no!
This is basically all my fault.
That's a symptom of.
Yeah, so I loved the Boglins when I was a kid. I had the blue one. He's called Vlob, and he was my best buddy. Took him everywhere. And obviously, then I had a son. You know, he's 5 now, and so for his 5th birthday, I was going to give him my old Boglin. So I called my parents up and be like, "Have you still got that Boglin I gave you to look after?" And they're like, "No, Chris, we threw it away." And I was like, "No, it's worth $500. What are you doing?" Anyway, obviously, I didn't really care that much. I was like, I thought you would have done that, but okay. So I thought that was that. And then I looked online, I realized the Boglins are back, you know. So I messaged the guys that were making them and were like, you know, how do I get one? And they said, oh, go to this, you know, theboglins.com and order one, you know, order them. So I ordered one for him for his birthday. And then I thought this could be a great Doctor Who Velocity episode. So yeah, so we got a few companions. And
I hope he doesn't break wind at this moment.
I kind of wanted to do something a little more in camera as well. So
you got his hand in the right place. That's for sure.
Yeah. So it's basically wanted to do one of those like kind of creature puppet type of little shorts. And yeah, it just seemed like a fun thing to do. And obviously there's a little bit of a built-in fan base for the Boglins. You know, there's a few Facebook groups and stuff of people that love that stuff. So I thought we'll give it a go.
The first thing I thought when I saw the Boglins and all that, and I watched the episode, I was like, you've got to team these guys up with the Patang. I'm not kidding. They could have one heck of a part.
Oh my God. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I totally. And I think I like doing things on Velocity that the BBC would just never be able to do. And of course, they're never going to do a Boglins episode. So why not?
No.
I'm sorry. I cut it off because Brian was talking about Mark Robinson said something about your shirt and you were flashing it a little bit there. So
I just said thank you.
Oh, okay. More on the Sesame Street out here, of course. Dave, you had a question for the team.
Yeah, since we saw on the commercial a very different costume. I'm curious what where the visual of your Doctor came from. And kind of the evolution from that costume to this one.
Well, first I think for me, like I always thought it was weird that they always wore the same thing. Like they've for 200 days or 400 days or 5 years or something. You know, it's.
Does he ever take a shower? Does she go?
Right, like when you can change that shirt, you know.
That's right. How many suspenders?
Why not? You've got access to historical clothes from all different times, and I think just like as a theater nerd, I like that, and I'm quite. I embrace the costume in my comedy as well, and I own this T-shirt. So I wanted to have fun with the Doctor and what the Doctor wears, and I wanted that to be sort of fun, but also something practical. This last outfit with the yellow pants and the boots and all, Chris actually picked that one out and sort of showed me the different elements, and I was like, oh, I like these elements. Yes, I like these elements, and they're one of my favorite pants. I wear them outside of filming Doctor Who, and I wear those boots all the time. I get lots of compliments on them. I wish the jacket is a little bit tighter fitting than I think my action Doctor will needs. So I might switch that one up, but I'll probably keep the pants for a while. I really like those.
Which outfit do you like? Which is let me put it in two questions. Which one is the most comfortable? Which one do you like as far as appearance is concerned?
I think I like the overall aesthetic of this most recent one.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely would change the jacket moving forward just to have a little more movement. Yeah. I like the hat. I like the style of it. I just need a little more.
It's not comfortable because we bought it on Amazon.com for like $20. So
yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna think about that as a piece and invest in one that fits a little bit more nicely. But I do really like that one. I like the pink jacket too, the one with the pink jacket. I probably prefer the black hat though, personally.
Mystery Science
as the hat guy of the show, yeah, no, I love that first black hat. I absolutely adore it.
Yeah,
It
that's
looks
my
amazing.
favorite.
Speaking of hats and wands, Miss Mackenzie Floor had a question for you.
Ooh. Well, I'm going to kind of do a two-parter here because one is going to go aesthetics, because actually this is a question I asked before and I thought it was a really cool story that you told behind it. So I'm going to ask that one and then go to my other one that I actually wanted to ask. So your Sonic. I love the story of the creation of your Sonic. Can you tell those who haven't know the story?
Yes. My Sonic screwdriver. Peanut, can you grab my Sonic screwdriver? So when I went to build a Sonic screwdriver, I had a whole bunch of craft supplies and beads and Legos and things like that. And I just kind of kept putting different pieces together to see what fit together best on a lollipop stick, basically just all the beads and the Legos all around until it fit and it held tightly and it looked kind of neat. And then I put some Lego claws together, and once I had it all built, I sprayed it, spray painted it silver. And this year, in this last, or not this last episode, but the one before that, I added a little chain to it, so it like loops on my pocket, and then so I got like this little cool chain hanging. I like.
Nice.
I thought I could see something different about it, but I wasn't sure what it was. So yeah, the chain. That's awesome.
Yeah, I added a little chain to it. I had to add a bead to the end of it as well to stabilize it. It was starting to get a little wobbly.
That is so cool. And then the other question that I have, it might be even your husband will jump in on this one too. It had to do with, I want to say it was episode 5, I want to believe it is. It's where you have one of the actress who played the mom, and she comes back and she loses her body. And so at one point she has to turn into this mechanical person. And I thought that was really cool. How was that done special effect wise?
I'm glad that I'm glad that resonated with you, because Jen Potcher, she obviously played Agnes Waterhouse in our first episode, and then she goes and plays a mum character for a couple of episodes, and she's a great local actress, and she always gets the mum role, that boring kind of mum role where it's like, it's just someone's mum in a short film. And I really wanted to like not have her be this like boring middle-aged mum, and be like, no, she needs to be able to kick some butt. So what we decided to do in the Christmas episode where the Vashta Narada steal her body was, to turn her into a sort of cyborg hologram. So she could have, so she could have this action role, give her a bit more, make her a bit more like Sarah Connor in the Terminator films or something, So we did that, and it was we had like a motion capture skeleton. I downloaded a bunch of these motion capture files and applied them to this 3D model of a kind of metallic skeleton. And then we just have a kind of on set doing a similar motion, and then we'd sort of track the kind of 3D rendered one to it. And so then we could like blend between them. And that was one of the first times we'd done a whole kind of CG character that was actually, animated, which was kind of cool. The technology for doing like full humanoid animation is, it's very difficult to like animate that manually. And it was only a couple of years ago that you started to be able to, download these fully animated files and kind of put it together. So it doesn't require a whole team of ILM people to make it, so it's kind of fun. Yeah, it was, and we'll definitely be bringing her back for episodes in the future as well. So
good. That was another one. I'm like, we can see her again.
I love Gloria. Gloria is one of my favorite companions.
Yeah,
awesome.
I want to just take just a minute to tell you about one of our other actors, Dylan. Dylan was in episode 4 as he was the guy running the raves in the Weeping Angels episodes. And then in our Tron episode, he is the guy that goes into the Tron world. You know, he actually. This is a bit of a sad story, but it hopefully has a happy ending.
Yes, we meant the Tron. There you go. Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dylan was in a real life, really bad car wreck. And unfortunately, he broke his neck, and he is, wheelchair bound now. He can't move his arms or legs. And this was over a year ago. Obviously, Dylan, if you're watching, hope you're doing well, mate. And he's back in Boise, Idaho now. He had, a year's worth of treatment in the hospital, and he's back and about, learning to adapt to life in a wheelchair, basically. But the great thing is we've been chatting to him, and we're going to be bringing him back. So I'm really looking forward to the next few episodes to get Dylan back in it. And as much as being in a wheelchair could be a restriction, we're hoping to have a lot of fun with it and see what we can do. Special effects. I was telling him I'm going to have him in a thing flying up the street or something. We'll figure something out. So it should be. I'm really looking forward to bringing it back in a future episode.
Okay. Well, speaking of future episodes, we're just going to take our final break. When we return, we'll continue our discussion with Krystal and Chris. Doctor Who Velocity. Don't forget to check them out on their YouTube channel. You can just look it up by name, Doctor Who Velocity. When we return, please continue to log on, stay tuned in, and we'll become part of the ledge. Okay, there we go. I love that sticker.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomacher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find the Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com.
Who knew the traveling TARDIS, the sonic screwdriver, could work in Harry Potter world? Chris, I got a few videos for everybody to see. Which one would you like me to play? I got TikTok, Party Reel, Reel 3, and Reel.
I have no idea.
Just pick one at random? Okay, here we go. Let's see this. I'm just giving away all the secrets today.
Yeah, so we obviously had a scene with them, a guy flying around on a little UFO escaping the Boglins or whatever. So yeah, that's actually just a kid's swimming pool upside down with some fake legs stuck on it, and that was a lot of fun. I kind of wanted to try and do more practical effects in this one just because they're such a giggle, and we're pretty happy with how it came out.
And let's see this.
What's up, guys? Our new Doctor Who fan film featuring the Boglins is out now.
I think I just got bit by a creature with clown makeup on.
Each one has its own distinct personality.
That's right. We're dropping our new episode tonight featuring the Boglins. So head on over to YouTube, like and subscribe, and watch them all. Why not?
What's up, guys? The new Boglin episode is out. Please go check it out. Woo!
We are doing a release party on Thursday, September 22nd.
It's down at Repop Gifts in Boise, Idaho. We're going to throw a big Doctor Who party here, watch our new episode, and hang out and have some fun. We'd love to see you there, so come on down. It's a free event, family friendly.
Thursday, September 22nd from 5 to 7. We hope to see you there. Be safe in your travels through time and space.
So if you happen to be in the Boise, Idaho area, you can actually visit and see the stars and the production team of Doctor Who Velocity.
Yeah, and that's on Thursday.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that. That's why I got all these stickers printed so we can give out some stickers. See
the magic spray. Give out stickers of your wife out there. Everybody waiting for stickers on. Oh gosh, Tom, I'll get you one. I promise I'll get you one. Every episode, he's bugging me for stickers because I brought some to MegaCon, and then all of a sudden, it's like, "Where are my stickers?" I'm like,
yeah.
Pretty
The
cool
problem,
sticker.
the thing about stickers is they get real expensive. Like this was like $1.
Yeah, trust
this
me.
is $1, which is not doesn't seem that much, but if you want 100 of them printed, it gets pricey.
Yeah. It's like, how many stickers do you need? And it's like, I can give you. I think I had a good deal. It was like $250 for 300. I'm like, oh god, jeez, that hurts.
Exactly.
And I really have no budget out there. Speaking of no budget, I wanted to make an announcement today because I don't think I got a chance, Dave, to even announce this. And Dave, I want you to do a follow-up for me on this. If you could pull up our YouTube channel, I want to thank everybody. Krystal and Chris know as much as getting the views out there. We just recently hit 175,000 views within a year and a half, marking this. Now, the thing is, that was 10 days ago. So we're up to 175,000. You guys really are desperate for entertainment. I love you for it. But we have a new number if we could bring it up. So, Dave, if you could bring over I think it's the About. I know that was
go to the proper page, not the.
Okay.
Just the screen.
Yeah, that's right. And I think there it is on the far right. We can't float, but I'm going to read it now. We are now to 199,490. So after today, I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
Wow.
With this episode, we're going to hit the big 200K.
Not even the entire team hammering F5 on their keyboard can get that many views. Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah. I just updated my website with a direct link, so maybe some of them came from my website too. I don't know, but I can't take credit for all that.
Mama, I'm famous.
Dave, if you can pull that back up, I just want to show something that because I think this has been a driving force for a lot of us. Go back to the normal page, the home page. And I just want to show people what we've got to offer as well, all the way down to shorts. Because we've done a lot of shorts, and we want to thank Halloween Horror Nights for bringing a lot of those shorts in. I
want to stay here.
We have
the Game On series
content. There's the Game On series. If you want to check it out, that is hosted by the rathole.ca. And there's Krystal in there. But we have a lot of shorts thanks to Halloween Horror Nights. You can see it for yourself. Look at that. Tons of shorts, and especially in our TikTok videos. If you're already desperate for Halloween and just want a little short entertainment, 15 seconds of short entertainment, check it out on our YouTube channel. And as you can see, we've got the live feed going out over here. And Dave, if you can bring over Doctor Who Velocity, let's show everybody what they've got over there.
I was just gonna be a jerk and bring up the live feed on the live feed. just to get super meta.
Remember remember the dimensional shift that we had when that happened? There we go.
We're going into a vortex.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Question is, did we bring a? No, we don't have the link in there just yet, but we will.
We will.
That's okay. Give me a moment, and I will happily.
So Dave's going to bring in the Doctor Who Velocity YouTube channel. Krystal, and Chris, of course, what is the future of Doctor Who Velocity? Where do you want to take your doctor? Who do you want your doctor to meet? And so on.
Oh, that's a good question, because the thing about the brilliant thing about time and space
And don't say
travel and
Boglins again.
sci-fi
You had to get something different. There we go.
is you can
Why am I
go
here?
anywhere. You know, the sky's the limit. And anything you can think of in the future, anything you can think of in the past. I like stories that play with going to the past and how that affects the present or the future. So I might have a story in that direction.
Okay.
But I also love what Chris comes up with, and when he sends me a script and he says I'm gonna buy 8 Boglins and we're gonna make Doctor Who Boglins. I'm like,
oh my God,
brilliant! Let's do it. Cool, sounds great. I love puppets. Let's
Chris,
make it Doctor Who. So.
Chris, when did Krystal become an addict? When was the exact date that this all happened?
And there's a Sonic.
There's the Sonic. There is a Sonic. Give it a
There's
close up right there.
Here you guys go. You can see that it's just Lego, and that's all bead right here. But I didn't fasten the bead, so you can twirl it around on the stick, and then that's where it hooks onto the chain. But it's it's not mechanical. I do have to manually. It's not quite as technologically advanced as the Doctor's.
It still does the job that the Doctor's Sonic does work.
Chris gives it all the magic.
There you go. But Krystal, I really, is there like one person in mind that was like, I want to explore this person? Because you had Agnes, you had Sophie Aldred as Ace, and don't forget that we had actually Ace make an appearance on Doctor Who Velocity, and I'm still bitter.
How could you do that?
Spoiler alert. I'm just letting you know I'm bitter. That's all I'm doing. But I'm going to say this after childhood end. We now know that Ace has a multiverse, so I have accepted this little dimensional kerfluffle in Doctor Who Velocity with Ace. I'm allowing it now. But
just want to say,
seriously,
massive shout out to Carl, who just said we did well on a low budget there in the comments. That was very kind of you, Carl.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think we don't know exactly what the next episodes will be. Usually it will just like marinate. It's just something will be like ding.
Yeah,
it's hard though, because we did an episode WHOniverse, which was the 7th one, which we were in Mexico, which is all green screen, and that ended up taking me over, I think, 380 days from start to finish, because we stagger them. But from the beginning of that one to the end of it was like a real long one. And so I'm trying to focus on ones that we can make a little bit quicker, It's kind of hard on a low budget. And you guys know this as well. Like YouTube is just like, everyone's like, feed me more content, give me more episodes, make them longer, and I'm like, there's only so much kind of, energy and sanity that I can provide. Before I crack, and so we don't have any firm ideas, but we definitely want to explore some more Doctor Who Velocity as soon as possible.
You asked if there was anyone in history I'd like to meet.
Yes.
Just I myself, and this is the Juana Inez was in there. She's a writer and a poet and a woman, and so that was great. But the other one, and I know how hard Juana Inez episode was going to make, so we're probably never going to this place. But I would love to go to meet Lady Murasaki. I think it's Shikibu. She wrote the first fictional novel. It's called The Tale of Genji. It's really sweet book. You want
You want me to find 10 Japanese actors in Boise, Idaho? Is what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I know we're never going there. We're never doing this. I'm just saying this would be a brilliant time in history and a brilliant character to.
It's definitely that is a challenge.
Can we make Japan on a green screen, Chris? Can we do it?
Yeah, I make a for a job I make a lot of corporate videos and stuff, and because we're based in Boise, and getting any kind of diversity is always a challenge here because it's mostly white folks, so it's a nightmare. But I don't know. We could do most places. I don't know if we can do Japan, but we could try.
So Carl's got a question here. Yeah, you may have already answered this one, but do you guys write all your episodes yourself?
Yeah, basically, kind of. So between me and Krystal, we've come up with the ideas for all of them. We did have on the WHOniverse episode, we did have one of my friends help write it. The nature of the production, makes it that it's kind of important that we have a pretty firm guide on what happens and how many scenes there are and stuff, because it's the minute you go outside of what is actually possible for us to make, it suddenly starts all falling apart. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, if we're going to have 2 or 3 actors, I need to know who those actors actually are, and they need to be able to actually come to my house for a certain amount of time. And so it's very hard to juggle what's the reality of our production with what stories we want to tell.
Yeah, there's infinite stories we want to tell, but you go, okay, these are the places that, when you're writing it, whether you can actually make that or not. The first episode, I wrote that one, and I had no idea what Chris could or couldn't make, or I know what I can craft. I don't know that it'll look good. So that was a learning experience. And then the next couple we sort of co-wrote, and that was a little bit easier to understand what we can, I might write something and send it to him, and he goes, I don't, that's not something I can make. So maybe if we do it this way, here's this scene, but in a way that I can make. And so, the ones after that, Chris has been more in charge of the writing for sure, because he's the one that has to make it, really.
Even on a 0 budget, even the scene length is difficult. If a 1 minute drama scene is going to take me about 4 hours to film, something like that. So if you make the scene 2 or 3 minutes long, you've got a problem, because you either have to have the actors for a whole day, whereas people have jobs, or you have to get them to come back. And if you have to get them to come back, on a 0 budget production, you'll invariably get them come back in a different t-shirt.
Or with a haircut.
And even in this episode, in the Boglins episode, if you watch, so Magdalene is wearing a Care Bears t-shirt, and the Care Bears t-shirt switches from the original Care Bears t-shirt to a plain white t-shirt that we printed a Care Bears Photoshop logo on, that I made, because she lost the t-shirt that she wore in one scene. So, as you can imagine, if you're asking people for a favor, I'll come to my house and be in my weird Doctor Who episode. The next day they come back and they've shaved their beard or whatever, and you're like, oh my God. It's a bit of a weird juggle trying to, work all these things out and write something coherent. And it's funny, I got a YouTube review come through this morning, and it said, shows potential, but too quick. And which sounds like a criticism, but for me that was a compliment, because I had 2 aims with this show: was to show my potential as what I could do if I had a budget, and 2, to make it really quick, so it was in and out, and there's as a filmmaker, there's more to me. But this is a kind of experiment,
And thus the velocity. Folks,
correct.
Krystal, Chris, we're going to go into the after party. So if you'd love to stay, we would love to. We're just going to run for a little bit longer. But our folks who are listening on our on our audio podcast. Thank you for joining us. iHeartRadio, sci-fi.radio, CBS, not CBS Radio. I'll figure it out someday. Spotify, Spreaker, Podbean, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Please, thank you for subscribing. And for those of you who are watching, you subscribe there if you want to listen to your car. We are ending the audio version. We're going to continue on with our visual version. If you're on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel, this is where you can see it. If you're listening in your car, after you get to your place, you can continue watching and finishing up the episode of the Doctor Who Velocity interview. But we're just going to go into our after party. And for everybody who's listening on the audio, thank you for joining us. We're going to spend a little bit more time with our friends here, Krystal Moore and Chris Phillips. Thank you so much again for those of you listening. Right now is a chance, youtube.com/The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Help us to get up to 3,000. That's where we're trying to hit. 5,000 would be great at the end of the year. And we've got a lot of people just trickling on in. And it looks like we're going to hit 200,000 views by the end of this episode. So I'm very excited out there for those of you online. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget, facebook.com, The Traveling TARDIS. 63,000 followers strong and growing massively. All right, let's go to the after party. Everybody who's listening, thank you for joining us. We'll catch you in the Whoniverse. Please continue to stay safe and be part of the legend. See how easy that is? Now we're in the video version.
You managed to press the right button for a change.
Shush.
I want to hear more from I want to hear more from Dr. Freedom. He looks like he can do a good rant.
Oh, I could. Oh.
He's very good at
what kind of accent do you want it in?
It came from the parking lot.
Oh, I have fun with that too. Oh, but one of the tough things though is, when you're doing this show, you know it can only be so many minutes long. You want it to be quick. The big problem I have is, like, to give you an example, when I wrote my first audio play, I just wanted to be maybe 15 minutes, half hour at most. Okay, it's like I just wanted to do a test run to see if I could do what I could do with the technology I had. It turned out to be 2.5 hours long.
Oh no!
I'm not kidding. It ran away with me.
On a side note,
narrowing it down.
On a side note, I was happy to do one of Dr. Freedom's audios, and he killed me. Literally, he killed me.
Yeah, he did a tidbit where
died.
That's
can you
like
die, Christian? Yeah, I guess I can die for you, Doctor.
That's like a friend of mine has requested. Like, he goes, once your Writer One's TV series becomes greenlit, he goes, I just want to die. Write me a character and let me die. I'm like, okay.
Sean Bean.
But I can totally relate to what you said there, Dr. Freedom, and Chris too, in regards to the script writing, because it's, even for me, my hardest thing is not really necessarily the length of the scene. It's figuring out what the heck the producer is saying. I've had one of the notes that I received recently from a producer said, you have a very vivid imagination. And they didn't mean that in a good way. They meant, you went way over budget. We need you to go down. I'm like, couldn't you just have said it that way?
One of the we've actually got audio adventures on our YouTube. I think there's 3 of them now.
Yes.
And the great thing I love about doing the audio adventures is you can write anything, and they are the most ridiculous, wacky episodes I've done, because you can just write anything can happen. Like, oh, now we're on a planet with dinosaurs. Oh, now we're flying in space. And you can do whatever you want. You don't have to worry about the budget or anything like that.
So what you're saying is, in the audio, you could go to somewhere like, say, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, samurai, dude.
Yeah, totally.
Well, Chris shut off his audio. He couldn't.
Yeah, Hail of Genji. We could.
Yeah,
we could.
That is an excellent idea.
Just imagine it, kids. You're in Japan.
If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm actually deconstructing our studio, because this is our corporate video studio, which doubles as a Doctor Who set. Oh. And if I don't get it ready for some corporate videos, I'm going to get fired by my boss. So
that's not a good idea.
He was like, you can do your podcast this afternoon, but just make sure you get the studio ready for tomorrow. So that is what I am doing.
One question I did want to ask, what kind of system and software do you use for your CGI? Because it's really good, for a low budget. I'm really enjoying that stuff.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, so we use the Adobe Suite is most of the stuff, obviously the editing, but a lot of the effects are done in Blender, which is actually a free open source software. And so a lot of it is just like part of the thing about visual effects is it just depends on the tone of the show. Obviously, our show looks kind of wacky, and it means that you can get away with slightly kooky looking effects, which in some ways helps with the storytelling because it means everyone's suspending their disbelief because none of it looks real anyway. It's like it's kind of like you're watching an animation slightly. And that's kind of what I was going for. I don't know if you've ever seen, I grew up watching Power Rangers when I was a kid. And I just love the low budgetness of the show. You could they zoom in on someone's feet and then they jump in the air kind of thing. And that style of editing was kind of what I first learned. So that's kind of, I've always wanted to do those sort of wacky action scenes.
The frightening part is I actually remember the Boglins. When they first came
out. I think those are just one of those toys that came out and it was like a hidden gem.
How old are you, Christian? Am I allowed to ask?
Old enough to know. I grew up on some weird stuff growing up. I mean, I had Transformers, G.I. Joes, but I remember cartoons like the Shirt Tails, the Snorks, all those guys. So I mean, those were gems, and it's just when somebody actually mentions things like those, especially from the 80s, what was that? Nobody talks about the GoBots. They're like distant cousins.
And then you got guys like me who are old enough to remember Star Blazers, G-Force.
All Star Blazers, yeah.
Robotech. Oh, yeah, stuff like that.
But to answer the question here about the Waffle Ritos, I have attempted making Waffle Ritos on more than one occasion with different kinds of waffles, different kinds of fillings. I don't have a waffle iron that makes waffles. They were a mess is what I'm saying. They were an absolute mess and you couldn't eat it like a burrito, but they were delicious. I had Nutella in there and strawberry compote that I made and whipped cream, and it was really yummy, but it was just everywhere. You're wearing the waffle Rito. So what I think would work though, but I'm not going to buy one of these, is one of those ice cream cone, waffle cone irons. Those waffle irons, but don't cook it too hard, right? Just nice and soft. I'll bet. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For anyone who's trying to duplicate the waffle Rito, proceed with caution and make big waffles in order to get.
And just in case for people who may be just a little bit challenged on this, what is a waffle Rito?
That's true.
I was going to ask her to clarify for everybody too.
Yes, the waffle Ritos are from episode 1 when we take Agnes and we bring her to the future. One of the things that is there are waffle Ritos. One of the great things of this time. I need everybody to try. So. I did make some for one of our Doctor Who parties, that first one, because I thought, I made up this waffle Rito thing and I should bring some waffle Ritos to the party. And I spent all day before the party trying to make these. This was my first attempt trying to make these waffle Ritos, and they were just a disaster. I think I had maybe 10 or so that looked good enough to put on a plate to bring as just if you want to try this, you could try it. But this is what I think. I tried to make a waffle Rito.
I'm seeing some suggestions for Major Morgan. I don't know what that is, but I do know what a Texas speak and spell is. My 6-year-old is obsessed with old toy technology for some reason. He'll watch these YouTube videos for hours where people fix old speaking spells.
Yeah, he's a total nerd about it.
I think spiralogram. I think he means spirogram, which is that thing where you've got a cog with little dots in it, and you put a pen in it, you spin it, and you make a little pattern. I mean, that might be a little stretch on on plot, but
it was the Texas speak and spell, I think, that helped E.T. communicate with his people, right? If I'm mistaken, was that?
Yeah, he made a phone out of it. Yeah,
he made a phone out of it there. Speaking of making a phone out of it, because I have no segue, and shame on me for not doing this during the show. We got a birthday shout out from Mark Muncy, one of our panelists of Erie, Florida.
Birthday.
Happy birthday, Mark. Totally forgot during the show because I forgot to upload his picture, but there he is. I have no idea how old he is. I never ask anybody how old they are, but if you want to help him with his birthday, Freaky Florida, check him out at Mark Muncy at Erie, Florida, and he's also got his show. If you like paranormal and you like stories of Florida, you want to mix them up both together, check out Erie Travels on the YouTube channel. So happy birthday, Mark. We'll hope to see you soon out there. And don't forget, if you want to get into the holidays as far as Halloween's concerned, Traveling TARDIS is over at Halloween Horror Nights, pictures galore. And these are just a few samples of stuff that we've taken with the Traveling TARDIS on his travels out there. That one's one of my favorites out there. But I also had the pleasure of taking the poor boy over to, of course, you have to do this religiously.
Nice.
So there will be more coming along the way out there. Oh, sorry, I had a buzz. So happy birthday, Mark. Thank you for everything that you've done for the show out here. And I'm trying to think of a question. I had a question that just went away out there. If you had an unlimited budget, what would you do with the show? Let's say budget was not an issue.
So I think we'd be running into the same problem that we'd be better than the official show, wouldn't we, if that was the case?
I would say that about this podcast.
I was gonna say, I'd say you. If there's an argument to be made that you already are.
If I had an unlimited budget and was therefore AKA running the actual Doctor Who show, let's face it, that's what you would be if you had a huge budget. I would get a writer's room in and not try and write every episode myself, Chris Chibnall, and just try and just allow people to develop ideas and criticize each other in the writers' room and think about things, so things just don't randomly happen. And I don't want to go too harsh on the real show, but
I support that.
Yeah, if I had to tell you, Krystal had to quickly watch some of Jodie's episodes this morning just in case anything came up, because it's quality.
Okay, here's the thing.
Quality drop off, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I love and respect Jodie Whittaker as a person and as an actor, and some of them have been frustrating as such a big fan of her as an actor for me. So it was definitely there just felt like a lot of missed opportunities and a lot of great concepts that didn't have enough people ironing out the details. And, you can't, Chris and I do all of the stuff on all of our own projects. So all my own projects, I'm doing all of it, everything, all of it. All of Chris's projects, he's doing everything except for that bit that in this one where I'm acting that part, or the actors, or the one dude that holds a mic sometimes, but you can't do that on a big project with millions of dollars in a budget. That's mental.
It also beat him into story. I mean, like an episode like Midnight, 6 people in a room. Or I think it was 6 or 8 people in a room, but you could tell
talking heads doing this.
Talking heads, and that one of my favorite episodes of the audios, the Big Finish audios, is Scherzo, and all it is Paul McGann and India Fisher. That's it.
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
nobody else.
I feel
Less
like
is more.
one of the things with the new episodes was like they tried to like. It felt like watching a Michael Bay movie. You know, where he like cuts between loads of different scenes going on at the same time constantly. But a Michael Bay movie without the explosions and bikinis. So I mean, what's left? You know what I mean?
I want to see Optimus Prime in a bikini.
What else is there?
You know, and you know, I'm
Okay.
just joking, but it is that thing where it's like Doctor Who is about characters relating to one another. And it
despite
isn't
their differences as people in different times or from different places in the universe or different places on the planet. That's the beauty of it, is you can go and you can see that humanity at this time or this time or this time or on that planet or on this planet and connect to it.
Out
know,
of all the things of saying this in a paraphrase from The Wrath of Khan, the Doctor being an alien, the Doctor is the most human of them all. So it's really and you know what, I'm going to segue this. I didn't know if I was going to wait until the next episode, but we've started doing this. It's all about the
exactly.
The writing, the acting, everything has to be it, but it's the writing that ties it all together. If the writing's not there, it's kind of like having no bolts on a ship. It's like heading the Titanic into an iceberg. It's
good writing is easy to act.
Good writing is always easy to.
When I have a well-written joke, I don't have to try to remember it. I don't have to try to perform it. It's a good joke. It just comes out.
Right. And being a theater, working in theater myself, is just like there've been those lines that have been like cringe. I'm like, why am I saying this?
Right.
Why did you give this to me? So I'll segue to this. You know, I'm just going to announce that we are starting to do this since we're on the YouTube channel. We did a poll on the YouTube, and you can have your ideas of the discussion. The question was, please select which best describes how you feel about the upcoming episode, The Power of the Doctor. And we had about 79 people respond. I think this is the largest count that we've had on the poll. The thing is, they removed the Facebook option of doing polls on there, and there was quite a turnout. I think like 120. But there it is. It's
terrible data.
13% said they are excited and willing to watch it. 10% said we're interested in watching it. 9 were kind of like, eh. 22 said they weren't that excited to watch, but they were still going to watch. But 47, almost half that poll of 79 people said, no, I've left. Or they're just not watching this episode.
Yeah, but how many times have they all said that?
and how many of those people who answered the poll ever watched it?
Exactly, because you don't. That's a problem with these polls, is you don't know who is actually. You don't know if it's a bunch of bots that are coming in.
That's true.
Doing that
because the Facebook page kind of
almost 40 times. That's what happened.
The Facebook page almost, I wouldn't say flips, but it does give it a. You know, the numbers do kind of move up the chart. But I also had to say this: I had more responses from the YouTube poll than I did to the Facebook poll. And I'm not saying that. It's just interesting to, see how this dynamic works.
Facebook's surely deader than the BBC right now, isn't it?
Yeah. I'd like to say that.
Yeah, it is kind of. I don't trust online polls at all myself because for some crazy reason in our day and age, everybody's going to Rotten Tomatoes. Yet this is Rotten Tomatoes who openly had to take down a couple of options because they came out that they were being botted. Yeah. So you like I said, you got to watch out for that stuff. Heck, I've been botted. I don't know how many times. It's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, and it wasn't Rotten Tomatoes. I think it also was Amazon. It also had to deal with that when it came to the Ring of Power because they were botted as well. And then, of course, I can also say in video games, I play Genshin Impact, and for the anniversary, they got review bombed because a lot of people didn't like what they were giving out for the anniversaries. And already I've been told from hearing around that they're planning, the fans are getting ready to do it again for this year. Like, really, guys?
Nothing about this surprises me. So I worked for MTV for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And if I told you that the MTV Awards are totally fair and always, always fair. And they never, ever, ever rig them because they would never do such a terrible thing. So I'm quite used to these big companies going, "Oh no, we're being review bombed! Quick, switch it off."
Oh, tell me about it. I questioned them the year that, what was it, the video for, I think it was Sweet Child of Mine beat Metallica 1. And I'm like, wait a minute, all Sweet Child of Mine of their video was them in a warehouse playing the song, and then you have one which has a movie mixed in with it. I'm like, something's wrong here. Even the guys, went Slash, and I think it was, came up and accepted the award. They said, we're giving it to Metallica.
Dr. Freedom knows, doesn't he?
So,
It's Dr. Freedom would.
Yeah, well, like I said, some of the comments on the YouTube channel, I was like, well, no, I'm not reading that. And some of them were like they were legit, like you mentioned, Krystal.
I have to say, the one thing that I've really loved about doing this fan film is the people that do take the time to comment on our page are actually usually they watched the episode, they thought about it, and they wrote something nice.
They're so
it's actually
lovely.
really
They're the
nice.
loveliest.
Yeah, we don't often get abuse, and we don't usually get like bots or anything. I mean, we're not that big, but it's kind of nice to get real comments. I would rather 100 people watch our episode and actually watch the whole thing than someone comes on for 5 seconds and goes, "Oh, you suck," or whatever.
Right.
It's nice.
But I think it's also whatever it is what you want to take. If somebody's going to come on your and they've said things like similar to us, it's like you suck or whatever. Just like, well, that's great. I'm not. I guess I'm not going to be attracting you. But somebody legitimately has a good criticism, like I couldn't hear you on this episode, or what about this topic, or one of my favorite I wouldn't say criticisms, but I've mentioned in panels. I said my favorite compliment is not when somebody says you did a good, that was my favorite episode, or I like this episode, Christian of the Traveling TARDIS, or I like this topic. It's when somebody says, you made me think that you made me think more than I expected. I wasn't expecting this. So that's one of my favorite compliments. And if I can do that, that's great. But when somebody comes in and brings in their suggestions, I listen, because I take it for what it's worth. Either it's something I'm going to incorporate and say, okay, we need to do this. We can do this better. Or if it's something like, you suck, get out, like, well, I'm just going to ignore you. Thanks. Thank you for putting that comment in. At least my algorithm is going to keep going up. So I'm going to say good night and thank you. We're going to end it.
I've had my little man stuck downstairs for a couple hours now, and I want to go give him a hug and to make sure he hasn't set the place on fire down there.
Make sure he's got plenty of snacks. Yeah.
Make sure he hasn't put that cake I gave him down the bed.
That's fine. We're going to go ahead and end the episode. Thank you, folks. Guys, let you know that the upcoming episodes, and I invite you to actually watch this. October 18th, Phantasmagoria will be returning for the Doctor Who, their special. It's something to experience. And October 11th, we're going to be doing a special episode with SD Who, better known as San Diego Who, the convention out there, and we'll be doing a virtual live show the following weekend. So, Krystal, Chris, thank you for joining us. Everybody, go to
thank you guys.
Dr. Who Velocity on the YouTube channel, on the Facebook page. Thank you all. Please stay safe. Dr. Freedom, Dave, Mackenzie, thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead and end this now. And don't forget to say goodbye, because we'll put your chats into our feed. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching.
Keep up